1340 KVGC. Welcome to a Friday morning. On the phone with us, our good friend Douglas Viviani. He's one of the hosts of Everything Old is New Again, along with David Cohn. Heard every Saturday evening at 6 o'clock right here on 1340 KVGC. Douglas, good morning.
Good morning, Jim. How are you doing?
Good. Hey, Doug, I want to ask you a question. Are you in a new line of work now? I saw on your Facebook page where you're selling door stoppers or something like that. Is that?
It seems that way, right? I've grabbed upon a cause in my later years here to promote these door stoppers when you have little kids, from stopping them from slamming doors into fingers. Because unfortunately, this past week, this Sunday night, that's actually what happened to me. We were potty training little Leo, and all excited, and you get involved, and I did something I never do, is put my thumb in the door jamb, and wow, he was excited to get to the bathroom and slammed the door right on my finger, and so we've got some problems with my thumb as a result of that, and so I figured I'd take to Facebook and take up a cause to try to put some meaning behind this horrible incident. So yeah, I'll tell you what, for the public service announcement for the day, if you've got kids, I never even knew these things existed. These are terrific door stoppers. You put on the little pieces of rubber you put on the ends of the door that no matter what the kids do, they can't slam doors in their own fingers, because tough enough for habit to me, the blood and the stitches and everything else, but to happen to a little child, boy, I can only imagine the difficulties that would happen. So, and since I've done that, I've got so many people write me or tell me that they've been involved in something like that, or a friend or a family member has. One of them had their dad. They remember when they were a kid. What a great example this was, I think. Their dad took some chicken bones and slammed the door on the chicken bones and showed the kids what happens when you play with the doors. And this is a person that's in their, I think, 40s now and still remembers that lesson to this day. So I don't know.
I'd like to grow up in that house.
A positive spin on this incident.
Yeah,
so
I'd like to
tell you.
Oh man,
it doesn't look great. But the doctor says, "Listen, you're married already. What difference does it make?" You know?
Yeah, there you go. So
it actually looked like The Walking Dead. I don't know. Have you seen that show?
Yeah.
Those injuries they get there.
Yeah. So was it just kind of hanging off? Were you able to? God, did it? I hate to be graphic, but did it like blow out the tip of it? I mean, what?
Yeah,
happened?
basically a quarter of an inch of the tip of it was. A second later, was on the floor on my right by my feet. So I bent over, picked it up, and it went right down to the bone. And again, it's a crazy thing. If anything that ever happens to anybody, grab the piece of your thumb or whatever it might be and bring it to the doctor, because believe it or not, they use that as they call it a biological bandage, and it's been sewed back on, and maybe it'll take, and even if it doesn't, at least it's the best way to heal.
Sure,
to have that piece of skin back on your where it should. Where it should be.
I guess the big question is, though, so how's Leo doing with potty training? Was this is it going to be a traumatic experience for him?
We put that aside for a couple of days until I can actually change a diaper now again. So,
you were
clean up the floor either way. Something tells me that my 4th of July will consist of potty training. I think.
So you were talking about the Walking Dead. I understand there's a spin-off of the show now. Yeah, it's amazing.
This series has become so successful. I don't know if you ever thought that a show about zombies would do this. I think they're going into their 6th season, the original show, and now they've taken upon themselves an incarnation where now it happens way across the country, in your area of the country, in L.A. It takes place in the beginning of the apocalypse, when Rick is the time frame when this Rick is in the coma, right at the beginning of the original Walking Dead. So it's sort of a prequel to The Walking Dead, and they're calling it Fear the Walking Dead, and it's going to become the alternative to when The Walking Dead goes on hiatus. That one's going to come in its place. They've already filmed 6 episodes for release 2015. It's coming out in August, next month. So I don't know if that's going to be good, bad, or indifferent. The coming attractions look really good. They're not showing much, but it's the same writer, Robert Kirkman, and it's right up the alley for Everything Old is New Again. Each week we we do take a look at a current topic of pop culture and examine its origins and its history, and with some clips we try to jog your memory, determine why we still continue to enjoy that topic of pop culture. And are you familiar with, or do you enjoy not only The Walking Dead, but the history of zombies?
I was just I was going to ask you, are you a subscriber to zombies? Do you believe in zombies? Do you think there will be the zombie apocalypse?
I never took to it and don't take to it, but Dave on our show does, and so we're gonna. I know down the line take him to task and see what, if it happens, what would we do. I know the CDC has released or had released a little ways back. Center for Control of what the heck is
No, you're right. The Center for Disease Control had a whole series of preparing for zombies for the event of the zombie apocalypse. Yeah,
exactly. So I think what we'll do is we'll try to prepare on the show one day. I will come back and tell you how we're going to do with that. But what we're going to do with when and if the zombie apocalypse happens, I don't know. I know that I would be one of these ones to fight and survive, and I know there are others that say, you know what, the heck with it. Let's just move on to the next spirituality, if you will, because it's not worth the fight. I don't know. Would you be somebody that'd be out in the tent battling the elements, or what?
I would. Zombies. I don't think of them much because I don't really. I guess I probably believe in the Wolfman and Dracula more than I believe in zombies. So
right.
The Wolfman probably is. I don't know if Dracula is a pretty cool monster. The Wolfman, for some reason, he scares me. Mummies and Frankenstein you can run from. Zombies, they don't appear to be too smart, but like in the Night of the Living Dead and other movies like that, God, they're tenacious and they don't stop and they just keep coming, and they'll, you board your house up and they knock the boards down. What would I do? I would fight. I'd probably climb to the top of our building up here with a shotgun and as much ammunition as I could, and I would just pick them off as they tried to climb up on top of the building.
I always think about what I would do, and I would do the same. What I would do is run to either Yankee or, because I'm in New York, here, Yankee or Citi Field, Yankee Stadium, and board myself up with my family there. You've got a field where you can, bring some plants and you should bring some seeds to plant some vegetables and fruits, and lock myself up in Yankee or Shea Stadium, and because they are relentless. They just come, and the sheer volume, the sheer numbers of them. On the other hand, they're kind of, to me, I don't know what happens over time. Like this Fear the Walking Dead, from what I hear, the zombies are a lot stronger because they're brand new. In The Walking Dead, they're a year or two old now at this point, and what's really happening, if you really take this myth to its the nth degree, these things really getting weaker and weaker. How could they possibly be that strong with their missing limbs and missing parts of their anatomy? So I'm with you. I'm not entirely frightened of them that much, though these shows are not necessarily about the zombies. They're about the humans, and some people say The Walking Dead are not the zombies, but are the people that have survived themselves because society's broken down, and what would happen, and the interactions between the people are frightening, more frightening, if you will, I think, than the zombies themselves. So, I don't know. These are silly topics, fun topics. That's what we do. We'd have arguments like this that you love to have on Everything Old is New Again. We love to visit the history of this and where it came from. So, of course, we'd go back to the Night of the Living Dead. I remember watching that with my dad and my couple of friends and my brother at a midnight showing back in the day. Boy, this is probably back in the 70s, and coming home, this was supposed to be a treat, but coming home at 2 a.m. in the morning with Dad driving us home, we were about 16 and 15, and man, couldn't sleep that night, that's for sure. I remember that, just so eerie. If you want to see something that's the origins of The Walking Dead, you like that, go to the original movie of Night of the Living Dead, and it was George A. Romero, and I'll tell you, you'll be hooked on at least the fantasy of it, Well,
4th of July coming up tomorrow, and we've got our fireworks here in Jackson. We celebrate, the Lions Club puts on a fantastic fireworks display every 3rd of July, so we're expecting that tonight. And I live just within less than a block from where they actually are fired off. So we have kind of a party around the pool, barbecue and so forth, and watch that. So we'll be doing that tonight. And then tomorrow, you know what I like to do on the 4th of July, actually? And this is kind of weird maybe, but at night when it's all – because usually here in California it comes on about 9 o'clock at night on the local PBS channel. They do the fireworks from like the Washington Mall and stuff, and they show the whole. I like to watch that. I don't know. It's just kind of it makes me feel patriotic, I guess.
I agree. I'm all for it. The fireworks. It's dangerous for sure. And again, another public service announcement. You got to try to be careful if you're setting these off yourself. But there seems to be a neighbor that I have. I don't know. He must have it in with the police because from his backyard, he sets off almost a professional type of firework display here in the neighborhood that everybody looks forward to. I don't know how he's allowed to do it because it is some pyrotechnics. And I turn on either the broadcast from Washington, I think you were mentioning, or the New York one.
New York one.
Because they've got the music, and you try to synchronize the music to the fireworks themselves. And my kids love it, and we just I'm fortunate enough we can go just to our front yard, and we pull out some chairs and have some dessert from our barbecue and watch the fireworks go. And remember, of course, that's a symbol of the independence and the battles that we've had to go through, that we continue to go through, and think about our troops and be thankful for them. And on Everything Old is New again this weekend, you can now tune in before the fireworks start because it's at 6 o'clock. So I think it's your fireworks. Most people's fireworks, we wait till the sun goes down, right?
Yeah.
So as a preview, we could tune into Everything Old is New again. We're going to actually have 4th of July on the show. We're going to talk about Hollywood and how they've dealt with the 4th of July, starting way back when with Yankee Doodle Dandy, if you remember that, with James Cagney, the rough and ready gangster who was a hoofer, they call him in his day. He was, believe it or not, he started out as a dancer. And they have a great movie there, and we'll go through all that to Saving Private Ryan, and then we have some fun with. I know you love the barbecue, and you're not a fan of the gas barbecue. From what I understand, I think you're more of a charcoal guy.
Yeah,
huh?
We're more of a natural. Yeah.
And you use the different flavor woods, I guess. Do you throw in there?
I sometimes I do that, but I actually use actual charcoal, not briquettes, but actual like mesquite or oak charcoal to barbecue.
And you feel that adds a little more flavor than just the straight gas barbecue, I guess.
I think so, but Doug, let me just. I have a gas barbecue too. When I'm in a hurry, I put it on the gas barbecue.
Exactly.
But don't tell anybody. So.
Because something tells me we're going to have a battle over that. Dave's not really a barbecue guy at all, so I'm going to be bringing my recipes in, and we're going to be. I'm going to give a once-over to the person that's really not doing barbecues that often, and just to give them some easy, fun, simple but very tasty recipes, and how to do a nice barbecue, how to set the tone if you've got a pool, and what music and things to listen to on the radio. To me, it's great to listen to a ball game in the afternoon while you're cooking up the barbecue, and everyone has different opinions about that. So we're gonna battle a little bit. Dave's gonna be, I know, because he's from New York City, and the New York City people are not as I would just say as attuned to go into the barbecues. They don't have the experience that we have here in the suburbs. That we barbecue all the time. I'm sure you do as well. And
hey, this is something for another show. You just said New York, and you said Dave. You reminded me of something. My son JD, who's with me in the morning, wanted me to ask you a question, and this might be a topic for a coming show because we're right up against time now.
Yes.
Are people in New York still upset that the Giants moved to California?
They are, but there were much more Dodger fans from what I see around, and so the Dodgers are and they've been a little more successful back when it first happened. Yeah. So the Dodger fan, which is now a Mets fan, is much more aggravated with the Dodgers than with the Giants because unfortunately they didn't seem to have the following. Further, they were in the Bronx, so those fans just became Yankees fans. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it is a sore subject for sure because especially when the Mets are so bad these days. we love the rivalry between the three. And if you talk to a New Yorker about baseball that remembers it, that's the heyday when you had Mickey and the Duke and Willie Mays and all the three greatest teams basically in the 50s, I would say, in baseball, all in the same city. So it is a little nostalgic, and that's why people are hard on the Mets, because they want them to be a challenge to the Yankees, so that we've got that intercity rivalry. It's always fun to have that.
Hey, listen, before we go, we're up against time. Give me your top 5. I know I'm springing this on you. Top 5 Independence type day movies.
Well, definitely Yankee Doodle Dandy.
Okay.
And then we've got Mr. Smith Goes to Washington. Washington to me would be a great one.
Okay.
Just to talk about the government, how it works, and so forth, and the little guy fighting. The Patriot, of course, with Mel Gibson.
Oh, sure.
You know, that's a great one. They really put that together for for the day. And believe it or not, since I'm a science fiction guy, I know this is only the 4th one, but I'll end with Independence Day, the movie where the President of the United States gets in a plane and fights UFOs. So there's nothing more independent than that.
I'll go with Top Gun, Air Force One, Forrest Gump, Glory. Do you remember the movie Glory?
Yes, absolutely. I'm Matthew Broderick.
And then I'm going to have to go with Will Smith and Independence Day for the #1 movie.
Just for the fun factor, you know?
Douglas Viviani, Everything Old is New Again. He and Dave Cohen come your way every Saturday night, 6 o'clock here on KVGC. Hey, you have a great 4th of July, and keep that thumb out of the door, okay?
Thank you very much. Doorsteps are us. Give me a call anytime you need a referral on that.
All right. Thank you.
Have a great one.